At this time, I'd like to call Reverend Maurice Barnes to give our invocation.
Let us pray. Dear God, we give thanks to you for the gift of this day, particularly for this graduation. Thank you, God, for blessing these students to have completed their studies successfully. And here we are to celebrate all that you have blessed them to experience. For the journey they have traveled, we give you thanks. We ask your blessings upon them as they turn the tassel, move to the next phase of their life's journey. For the entire SALLIE Howard family, we give thanks for every big and little thing that was done to get them to this point. For their families, we thank you for their sacrifice, their love, and their support. Bless now this service of celebration. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Would everyone please rise for the playing of our national anthem? Thank you. You may be seated. I'd like to begin by welcoming everyone, and I want to begin my remarks by introducing our Valedictorian and our Salutatorian. Our Salutatorian is Miss Talia Lyons. And our Valedictorian, Miss Barbara Lopez. Okay, as I said, good morning, parents, family members, friends, Sallie B. Howard staff, and everybody else who's gathered with us today to celebrate this group of seniors. But mostly, good morning, seniors. This has been a day you've been looking for a long time. You've worked for 13 years to get to this day. And today's the day that you'll turn the page from being a senior to being a graduate in just about an hour or less. Won't be long. Graduation is a very meaningful occasion, and we want it to be memorable for you, and we want this day to be really special. And I know Ashaya came out earlier and asked that we keep our graduation ceremony dignified. So again, we're really looking forward to celebrating you guys in that way. So now, along with the program, seniors, you began your high school career unlike any others. You guys started out virtually. You know, we never even assembled as a class until you guys were sophomores. Your first freshman year was virtual. You know, we were in the pandemic times, and we absolutely made the very best of what that could be. And you guys, again, you were taught from afar. No other class has ever experienced what you all did. I got to know many of you first through your face in a Zoom box. That's how I got to know many of you. As I would pop in on classrooms, I'd get to, or classes, I'd get to take a look and watch your teachers work with you. And you guys set an incredibly high bar, even with Zoom learning, distance learning, where everybody says that you couldn't, you know, do the same things. You did. You guys, when you were freshmen and sophomores, you guys started out as a high school at 80% proficiency. There's not a high school in Wilson County who wouldn't kill for that right now. Not one. Right. And you get guys get that. And the good news is, when we actually got into the building, they got even better. Yeah. They got even better. And again, as a group collectively, from maybe the student with the lowest GPA to the one with the high, I've never seen a stronger group. And I've done a number of these graduations now. So again, we knew you were going to be special. We knew that. When we would have conversations over the years about, you know, what's coming through, what's this group, what's that group looking like, I would always say, wait till they get there. Wait till they get there. That is a special group. So, again, you guys have grown and matured. You've continued to display excellence throughout your career. Every graduating class is special for different reasons. And other than being the group that came through with COVID and being virtual, you guys are also unique in another aspect. You are the first group of students, and not all of you, because some of you joined us from other places, but you are the first group of students that began as freshmen at Sallie B. Howard School and went all the way through, many of you through kindergarten. You've never known anything but Sallie B. Howard School. So again, that definitely makes you special and unique. Parents, graduates, or soon-to-be graduates, you trusted us to get you here today. Here we are. Please know that as a staff, we are very proud of you, pleased for you, and happy for you. The best is yet to come. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. I would like to recognize the following platform guests. Executive Director, Dr. Joanne Woodard. Board members, Geraldine Dew, Panetta Harris, and H. Maurice Barnes, as well as Speaker and Representative Ken Fontenot, for taking the time to celebrate this journey we have ahead of us. My name is Talea Lyons, and today I'm honored to stand here before you as Salutatorian of the class of 2024. First and foremost, I would like to thank my father and Miss Lily, who always instilled faith in me, my adoring sisters, Ariel and Misha Lyons, and of course, my mother, the woman who single-handedly fostered my dreams, who taught me kindness and compassion, and my designated driver for every activity I forgot to tell her about. My #1 supporter and best friend, Miss Jodelle Lyons. You, Mom, deserve every award and honor I have received. I want to thank all the parents, family, tenacious faculty, and distinguished guests who took the time to celebrate such a momentous occasion with us here today. I extend this thanks to those who may not be here physically, but who continue to guide us from beyond spiritually. To the grandpas we lost, to the brothers and sisters, and my personal counselor and aunt, Miss Vanessa Forsythe. I'm so glad she pestered my mom to take me into SBH's grasp, and I hope to continue to shed her light alongside the many familiar faces that remind me and a myriad of others of her existence in this here faculty. Now, graduates, whether you started your journey here as a kindergartner, middle schooler, or high schooler, you all have one common denominator. That is, having survived the TikTok plague of 2020. And for that, you should give yourselves a round of applause. The pandemic marked our transition from preteens to teens in isolation, which was evident in our styles. We've seen each other through our at-home hair dye jobs, the sky-top box cut epidemic and its victims, Noah and Isaiah, along with a few impulse haircuts. I've even had my fair share of changes, from being called Ice Spice for 3 consecutive years, and the notorious emo wave. A lot went on during our freshman-sophomore year, but we were, in a way, our most authentic selves. Fringy, but freed from the optics of our peers. This concept of perception was not our greatest concern, and likely why half of us barely passed that academic year. Instead, we picked up hobbies and started our own businesses without that extra ear in doubt. And as we filed into societal norms, we may have cut back on the eccentrics, but we also regained our sense of human relation. Yes, perception is terrifying, but you've all allowed yourselves to be perceived and recognized in your own distinct ways as you cross the stage. To be perceived, it's to allow oneself to be at peace with things no longer within our control. And of course, we'll all have our individual spectacles throughout the next coming years, and we can't escape that. This graduating class is a class that I will likely talk about for the rest of my days. Without you all, I could not have stood the tormented anguish of hearing this same graduation song for the past 10 months. It feels like just yesterday that it was August 1st, 2023, as we walked to that haunting melody for the first time it seems. At that moment, it felt like the embarrassment would never end. And as we sit here with that song instilled in our heads, we wish it wouldn't. Now, We may not know exactly where to go. Our schedules changed and new directories made towards these roads diverged. But I learned from traveling across the country that time goes without you. And it's what you do with that time to not regret all that you're missing elsewhere, to not dwell on what you're leaving, but enabling yourself to cherish all the moments while they're present. I had the option to cry all night because I missed my mama, or fill those moments with laughter to share with her later. I still did a lot of option one, but the memories balanced out. And as we reminisce through our tacky little yearbooks, all we'll be left with are these memories. The ones we made with that best friend from 15 years ago, or the husband we met our sophomore year. We'll see all we left for another generation, or all we took, the Friday dress outs, I'm sorry. Our lunch table will hone in as a safe space for another friend group down the line, staying with the laughter of our inside jokes and Jat's Pepsis that she knew she had no business having. To the chicken puns we made in AP Lit, just because! And the newcomers to Joseph's class, who will have it easy due to our years of complaining. And I mean literal years. We'll flip these pages of class crown titles and failed relationships, constantly pondering about the people we'll see at the grocery store in 10 to 20 years and wave to. However, you are more than just your high school titles. You may not have been most outgoing, but what did you say in your silence? What is the intrinsic calling of your inward passions? This year took a lot out of us, and especially to the graduates who didn't know they'd be here today. I'm so proud of every single one of you. Persevering in this day and age's mental battles solidifies you as the strongest of Teflon. And as you leave this graduation, I hope it is in a sense of catharsis, and that relief can only be summed up in the words of our forever mentor, Miss Sallie B. Allen. And though evermore I'm done with this, and my journey through eternity to the dawn of nothing be, I shall begin a cheer for you. And I hope you do begin your journeys as such. Congratulations to the class of 2024. Now, if you could give a warm welcome to our valedictorian, Barbara Lopez, for her address.
Good morning, board members, leaders, faculty, staff, families, guests, and my fellow graduates. It is an honor to be standing before you all this morning. We never expected this day to arrive so quickly, despite counting down the days until it finally did. Today, I am filled with conflicting emotions. On one hand, I am excited to celebrate a pinnacle of our young lives, the result of our diligence and perseverance. On the other hand, a sense of melancholy can be felt, knowing that this part of our lives is coming to a close. After today, we will begin to walk our separate paths towards equally bright and unique futures. Before anything else, I'd like to acknowledge all of the wonderful people who have provided us with support and guidance throughout our journey. Teachers who have deeply impacted our lives with their unwavering commitment to our education in school and outside of it. Especially to the ones that assisted us with college applications and plans for the future. Thank you, Ms. Mazaros and Ms. Steele-Gonzalez, for proofreading all of those college application essays. The same goes for our friends and families who are our anchors, pillars, and the wind beneath our wings. Through times of uncertainty and struggle, you all have been there to hold us up. Words do not begin to express the magnitude of appreciation we hold for you all. Now to the graduates. We can look back on our time here and reflect sentimentally. Our first year together was impacted by the COVID pandemic. We went to class online via Zoom meetings, most of us not waking up until 5 minutes before the class started. I don't remember much of that year, but some of the more vivid memories I have are from Mr. Joseph's class. About halfway through the class period, there would be a good 5 minutes of silence in which many of us would become more confused as the minutes passed. This silence would come to an end when someone would unmute themselves to alert Mr. Joseph that he had been talking whilst muted. Much to his frustration, this would continue to happen on multiple occasions. In addition to the memories of Mr. Joseph's class is the one thing I believe we all hold the equal amount of distaste for, math projects. Thankfully, we'll never have to do them again, but it is because of those presentations that I am able to overcome my nerves and give this speech. So big thanks goes to Mr. Joseph. Despite this interruption of our social lives, we were able to bounce back with vitality for sophomore, junior, and senior year. This newfound energy shined through in AP Lang and AP Lit. Preparing for Socratic seminars may not have been the most fun thing in the world, but being able to immerse ourselves in passionate discussion in real-world issues or dissecting the meaning of the work as a whole was something entirely gratifying. Each year was distinctly different and special from one another, in which we have gained the invaluable ability to quickly adapt to an ever-changing environment. Those in chemistry in the second semester of junior year would know about this. Completing labs with what felt like no prior knowledge despite Mr. Almarino's efforts. We were just a very tough group to teach. His efforts don't go unnoticed, as some of the most memorable labs and projects were done in his class. Despite science not being my favorite subject, Ms. Simonoff and Mr. Almarino have always found a way to make the lessons entertaining and digestible. Those abilities are also seen within all of the teachers here at the school, which is something to not take for granted. As pupils of them, we will continue to carry on the attitude we wielded here at SALLIE. As we embark on the next phase of our lives, the values of perseverance, respect, integrity, discipline, and excellence will be sustained onto college campuses, the military, or the workforce. Moving forward, we mustn't forsake ourselves. Let us remain humble and genuine. Let the mark we leave on the world be deep and joyous. The light of our future is illuminated by the brilliance of our dreams. In closing, I would like to share a quote from one of my favorite artists, Vincent van Gogh. I am seeking, I am striving, I am in it with all my heart. Class of 2024, I encourage you all to pursue whatever pathway you have in mind, but to do so wholeheartedly and fearlessly. Thank you and congratulations to you all on reaching this milestone. Now I would like to welcome our guest speaker, Representative Fontenot. Married for 17 years and blessed with 3 children, he has been fortunate enough to have taught our children and have been chosen to be a shepherd of our community. In his short professional career, Representative Fontenot was promoted 8 times in 8 years while serving in the United States Marine Corps. As the pastor of Door of Life Christian Church, Representative Fontenot has fought to be a voice for the voiceless and has worked tirelessly to develop relationships of trust between citizens and law enforcement. While leading children at Forest Hills Middle School, Representative Fontenot was nominated to be Teacher of the Year in his first year of eligibility. Representative Fontenot credits his faith in our country as the bedrock for all he has accomplished. Representative Fontenot believes the United States is the greatest country on earth, and by God's grace, we can all succeed. Please welcome our Representative Fontenot to deliver his commencement address.
Good morning. Good morning. Just want to say thank you so much for reading everyone else here. I can't express to you enough how much I'm honored to do this. You know, as a matter of fact, it's interesting, I'm almost never one who struggles for words because I love to read, I love to talk. But as I was thinking about, something truly impactful for you all, the young people here, I didn't really know what to say, gotta be honest. 40 years old, it's been 22 years since I sat where you're at. But I would start with this. I am very fortunate that at the place where I'm at in life, I'm actually living my dream. I would say I absolutely, positively I love my job. And that's because I get to serve you. Growing up, I used to see things that just didn't make sense to me. And what I realized later on was that was God's gift to me in what he called a sense of justice. Right? We all are wired for justice. And in one small sense, I get to play a part in that now. And I can't tell you how satisfying it really is to see resources go to where they belong, common sense legislation passed, and people like you, young people, I get in a very small way to try to build a future where you can be successful no matter what. And when I was looking back at my past, this memory came to mind. It was December 21st, 1993. I woke up, and it was a Tuesday. And it was actually the Tuesday after the last Monday at school. And I raced out of my room, thinking in my head, was the last 24 hours real? And as soon as I get out of my room, I look into my front room, I see stuff scrambled everywhere, and I realize, yes, it was real. The reason why, at that point in time, is that there I was at 9 years old, my father had passed away. My dad in many ways had a lot of faults. One fault he did not have was he spent a lot of time with me. A lot of time with me. And he was very supportive of me, even when I was doing stuff I shouldn't have been doing. And that was where I thought my world had ended. And in one sense it did. When he died, my mother, the best decision she ever made in her life. She had 7 children. She was living in Southside Chicago. We are one of the worst gang-infested neighborhoods. And she decided we're going to pack up, sell our house, and move back to central Louisiana. Now, I didn't know what that meant at the time. Until I get there. We drove for like 20 hours. We're going down this dirt road for like 50 minutes. It wasn't 50 minutes. It felt like that, though. And then all of a sudden, there's fields and cows and chickens. And I'm like, am I in the Beverly Hillbillies or what? And I had just been taken from Chicago and dumped, in my words, the middle of nowhere. Like I had rollerblades I couldn't use because we had dirt roads and no pavement. My bike never lasted more than a few weeks because it was so rocky and hard, the tires went flat or the chain broke. And I'm from the place where I can walk to the corner store. I can get on a bus, go to downtown. And now there's nothing. Like for instance, our entertainment in school, we got a day off for a squirrel hunting season. I didn't know how to do that. It seemed cool, but it just didn't work for me. But the second day off was deer season. I'm like, oh great, I don't do that either. And I just found myself not fitting. I just didn't fit. And that was my life for 10 years. Thankfully I graduated high school. My GPA wasn't that great. It was a 2.5. I got into college, University of New Orleans. I wanted to be a movie director. At the time, that's what I thought. And then after time, I found myself in Southside Chicago, where after getting my GPA down to a 1.8, I realized I needed some character change that I couldn't give myself. I just didn't have it. So I joined the United States Marine Corps, and I kid you not, the 3 things they taught me that I'm going to share with you has changed my life. And I'll give you an example. When I joined the military, I had a 1.8 GPA in college. I had so many W's, you might have thought it was a grade. And I really just had no direction. And as a result of these 3 lessons, what occurred is that by the time I got out of active duty, I had 6 college degrees. 1 associate's, a bachelor's in history, a bachelor's in pastoral studies, a master's in counseling, a master's in public administration. And then later on, I would learn my master's in education and teaching and learning, and then my postgraduate education from Northeastern University for a total of 7. And it's interesting because those 3 lessons I learned that day made all those degrees seem effortless. As a matter of fact, I had to stop going to school. My wife was like, you're addicted. You need to quit. I'm like, but I love it. And I did eventually quit to pursue what I'm doing now, which is representing you in North Carolina House and in our greater nation's politics as a whole. But this is what I learned that day that did actually change my life forever. I'll never forget, I was sitting in a room like you all here, with my instructors, and they said, if you want to be successful in life, if you do these 3 things, I promise you, you will never fail. They said, first thing, show up. No matter what, show up. How can you expect to succeed if you're not even there? That was like lightning bolt to me. I kid you not. Because like when I went to school, like I was that kid that maxed out absences up until I couldn't max it out anymore because I would fail. So I was that one. And then I'll be mystified, like, why am I not doing good in class? I was never there. I mean, hello, what do you expect, right? Show up. If you show up, folks, that's like 70% of the battle. A lot of people say, Mr. Fondo, how have you been able to get so many things done in just a short time as legislator? And I always tell them, you know, I discovered in 2 weeks just that how influential you can be if you're always there. So I show up. Show up is what I'm telling you. The second thing I would tell you that you can do that will change your life forever is sit in the front. I kid you not. Like, I was that kid back of the bus, right? I was the one back of the classroom. I mean, why? I mean, because I could pass notes, right? I mean, y'all even do that. You just text each other in your Chromebook now. I never forget as a teacher, they were like, oh, we don't pass notes anymore. We just send emails. I'm like, all right, cool. That's why you never use your Chromebook in my class. So, sit up front. There is something that occurs when you put yourself out of the way of distraction directly in the focal point between your brain and what is being taught, whether you are at work or whether you are at school. And that is one thing I still, as a 40-year-old, when I go to lifelong learning events, I still sit in the front and the middle. Even when like the front is like just a bunch of chairs, I'm going to be right there in the middle. Right there. And it's funny, you'd be interested to know sometimes who you meet up there. I was at a strength training event 2 weeks ago because I really like lifting weights. I'm not a strength coach. I'm working to be one. I just enjoy strength training. And let me be clear on this one. I was not always physically fit. At your age, 18 years old, I was 260 pounds. I wore a size 44 pants and a XXX shirt. So fitness to me is something that's become a lifelong passion. But sitting in the front in the middle, the guy next to me, head strength coach, Atlanta Falcons. The guy over there, head strength coach, Los Angeles Lakers. The lady over there, Sylvester Stallone's training coach. See, when you sit up front, folks, I'm telling you right now, there's a common denominator of where the people who are succeeding are at. Just sit up front, wherever you're at, just go to the front. And the last thing I would tell you, if you want to be successful, is relatively simple. It's always turn in your work. I'm serious, no matter what. It can be like the worst thing ever, but you know what? That worst thing ever is better than nothing at all. Seriously, don't do that. I don't care how bad you think it is, turn it in anyway. Now, I'm not going to try to tell you that it's always going to be passed, but I'm not going to lie. I think I had 1 C in all of those college degrees, 1. And that 1 C actually happened by mistake, because I was a brand new post-grad student, and I did the wrong assignment. So she mercifully gave me a D. She couldn't give me an F, and that D knocked off all my A's. So what I did learn, though, by turning things in no matter what, actually happened in algebra, because I hated algebra. I just couldn't stand math. It's just not my thing. And it's funny because my children say I'm good at it. I don't know. But I would go to algebra class, sit in the front, sit in the middle like I told you, turn everything in, and I'm not going to lie. By the time the end of the semester came, I'm like, there's no way I passed this class. Like, this is so going down in a burning fireball right now. Kids, you know, I got an A. Now I'm not going front. Part of me thinks she had mercy on me, which I'll take that. Hey, that works for me. Ain't no shame in my game, right? But I say that to say, if you just show up, right? Sit up and turn in your work, whether it's academically or whether you professionally are on the line for something, just do your best. The world, people in this world are looking to promote you. There's a dialogue right now meant to discourage you that is a flat-out lie. And that is, if you are a certain color, if you're a certain gender, that you know what, this is not the place for you. Let me tell you this, my friend. 8 promotions, 8 years, 7 college degrees. The first man in my position to be where I'm at in North Carolina House. One of the first to be in Troops and Teachers at Forest Hills. And you know what opened those doors? Was hard work. The key to success where you're at right now is working hard. It is not the color of your skin. It will not be your gender. And let me be clear with you. It is not going to be where you're born. Hard work favors the person who shows up and do what they are supposed to do. And my friend, you will beat the naturally talented. You will beat the gifted. You will beat the person better positioned than you because you work hard. So I say all that to say, ladies and gentlemen, young people right here who are about to go into the world, turn some things upside down, and do your thing, right? What I say to you is this, is if you show up, okay? You work hard. You sit in the middle, turn in your work. Look, I guarantee you, there's nothing you can't have. Nothing. It's just not going to, you're just not going to fail. And I'm not going to say I'm the model where you should be at 40, because you know what? You should be where you're supposed to be at 40. Your 40 is different than my 40, right? Where you're going is going to be different than where I'm at. But I would say this, if you know where you want to go, and you set out a goal to get there, friends, young people, you will arrive. You will. Especially if you just keep going. And don't turn back. If you decided to do it even when you feel bad. If you decided to do it when you're sick. If you decided to do it when you feel like you're going to fail. If you decided to do it when you feel like it's not going to work. Do it. Now this is especially the most important, when you don't want to. If you can make yourself do that, this whole world, this whole nation is open before you. Now I'm going to end my comments slightly off kilter academically, and it's more of culturally, and this is what it is. I had an interesting conversation with a young man in my office. He said, Representative Fano, I see we the people, and sometimes I just don't feel like I belong. As a young Hispanic man, he had done his best to become a citizen, and I bleed for all people, but I gotta admit, I grew up in a Hispanic neighborhood as a young man, one of the only black families there, and I have just a central kinship with Hispanic people. So just to that young man, he's not here, he probably will never see this, but to anyone here that feels like you don't belong, this is for you. Ahora quiero hablar contigo, mi gente, en español. Hoy estoy muy nervioso porque mi español es malo, mi gramática es horrible, pero mi corazón y mi amor por ti es grande. Hermanos, hermanas, te amo. Amó a sus hijos y sus hijas. Amó sus comunidades y su cultura y su comida. Los Estados Unidos te necesitas. La comunidad España es la fortaleza de este gran país. Tus hijos son regalos para nuestra nación. Quiero dar gracias. Gracias por sus familias. Gracias por tu cultura. Gracias por tu trabajo y tiempo. Y gracias por su presencia aquí. Hermanos, hermanas, Dios les bendiga, mi gente, y gracias. Dios la bendiga.
As we are about to present the diplomas to the graduating class of 2024, We would like to take a moment to honor you and remind you that you are invited to stand when your graduate is called, for they would not be here without you. We acknowledge that without your love and support, we would not be here today celebrating this milestone. We are once again asking that you refrain from making any noise that will distract from the ceremony. For the class of 2024, please rise. Cindy Aguilar Medina. Abriana Marie Allen. Fatima Amira Barbie. Noah Joseph Bland. Talisha Grace Braswell. London Angela Brower. Zaire Kyrie Charles Harris. Kiera Skylar Hunter. Kanaya Alexis Jackson. Angel Sherry Johnson. Kalia Jakima Jones. Kennedy Rain King. Zaria Nicole Lewis. Samantha Lynn Locust. Barbara Esperanza Lopez, valedictorian. Talea Janae Lyons, salutatorian. Isaiah Treshawn McCullough.
Bombay.
Genevieve Anne Marie Monaco. Janaya Nicole Newby. Layla Anaya Headaway. Vishal James Paul Sally. Kayla Malaya Paxton. Melania Maylene Sims. Ashaya Najunique Thomas. Brisa Alexandra Uristegi Egide. Marco Urquiza Flores. Sebastian Vega Quiros. Christian Amir York. Parents, in the words of Mr. Reeves, I'm calling an audible. We want to announce the graduates who have attended we want to recognize the graduates who have attended Sallie B. Howard School for their entire academic career, never attending another school. Will those 7 students please rise? Sallie B. Howard, born and reared. Mr. Reeves, Sallie B. Howard leadership, and board members. I have the honor to present to you the candidates for graduation of Sallie B. Howard High School, school year 2023-2024. I hereby petition the principal to certify the completion of the requirements of these candidates.
It would be my pleasure, Ms. Hines. All right, Dr. Woodard, leaders, staff, family, and friends, by the power vested in me as principal of Sallie B. Howard School, I certify to you that these students have met all of the required standards of the state of North Carolina and Sallie B. Howard's Board of Directors. They are prepared and ready to graduate. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Barbara Lopez.
Graduates, you may now turn your tassels.
Instructions as we prepare to leave. Parents, your and family and friends, the seniors have to go back and collect some items. So they're going to go backstage and pick up the actual diplomas, transcripts, that sort of thing. If you all, when we dismiss, would go out the back doors and gather in the courtyard, that's where they're going to come out and they will meet you all there. So again, we're getting ready to begin the recessional, so if everyone would please stay standing as we have our recession.